You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Well, guys and gals, as we know, this morning was a lot of drama. Really, I guess it was right around midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning last night. There was a lot of drama, but Josh McDaniels, Dave Ziegler, out of there for the Las Vegas Raiders. Of course, I did that video this morning. And Mick Lombardi, I think it's Michael Lombardi's son, is actually out too as the offensive coordinator. Not real surprising there. I have not listened to Mike's podcast this morning yet. Michael Lombardi, I do recommend the GM Shuffle and the Lombardi line because it is a very damn good podcast. It is. Speaking of good podcast, we've got a Las Vegas Raider insider that dropped a bombshell about 3 days ago that was not picked up except by one outlet, and it's an outlet I use for my political channel a lot, but I don't use it for sports very often, occasionally. But the Raiders podcaster, Hondo Carpenter, dropped a bombshell that didn't pick up any steam, and I don't know why or how, and my bad for missing this, but it peels back the curtain as to why we got Jimmy Garoppolo. It also lets us know that, well, was this the reason that Derek Carr was sort of given up on? Was there a decision already made? Did they think they already had this in the bag? And if they did, was it decided? Remember, Derek Carr got benched the last couple of games of last year. But he revealed a couple of 3 days ago that Tom Brady was set to come and play for the Las Vegas Raiders. And that Jimmy Garoppolo was the third choice. The third. There's three hands. There are three fingers. There it is. Third choice in all of this. This has gotten completely lost in the news cycle. There was one article that found it in his podcast and actually did an article about it. But this is wild. And Tom Brady changed his mind. I don't know if it had something to do with the ownership aspect, because we know Tom Brady's trying to get a minority ownership buy-in with the Raiders. He's already in with the Las Vegas Aces. There's a major relationship with Mark Davis and Tom Brady. There has been since the John Gruden days, because they almost signed Brady before he went to Tampa Bay. In fact, Gronk was going with him. Remember that news came out from Rob Gronkowski dropping that bombshell that Brady was actually looking at houses in Las Vegas? Well, here we go again, because he was coming to play for the Raiders, and it kind of makes you realize, was Mark Davis really chasing not the Patriot way, but the Tom Brady way? He ultimately wanted Tom Brady, and it just turned out to be a mess when Brady decided to ultimately retire, because then you still got Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels, and this just fell off a cliff. In other words, he lost the incentive to keep Josh McDaniels around once it looked like the Garoppolo deal. And in fairness, I thought Garoppolo would do better than he's doing. But that's turned into a nightmare, and now Josh McDaniels doesn't have a job. Tom Brady was apparently ready to play on in the NFL with the Las Vegas Raiders at the age of 46 before events in his life away from the field stopped the sensational move. I don't know if that's got to do with, remember the FTX situation that cost Brady a ton of money, and Giselle. I don't know what caused this pivot for Tom Brady. According to the Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast with Hondo Carpenter, the Raiders turned to Brady when they knew they were going to split with quarterback Derek Carr. So were they talking to Brady like when he was still with the Bucs? Keep in mind, Jimmy Garoppolo, Tom Brady have the same agent, okay? Just throwing that out there as a side note to this. Carr announced on January 12th he was leaving the Raiders, and Brady announced his retirement February 1 after the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost to the playoffs to the Dallas Cowboys on January 17th. So there was almost a 14-day period in there. I forgot about that. Carpenter explained, quote, "I'm not going to go into a ton of detail. I can't. So if you choose not to believe this, that's fine. The Raiders believed they were getting Tom Brady and had every reason to think that." Interesting. I said last season you don't get rid of Derek Carr for Jimmy Garoppolo, and that was not the plan. Period. Was not the plan. He said again. Then some things transpired in Tom Brady's life that made him coming and quarterbacking the Raiders to not be an option. You got to wonder if that's got something to do with his kids and the distance between Florida and Las Vegas. What happened there? That was not the Raiders' fault. I've seen some people say Brady didn't want to play for the Raiders. Not accurate. They had planned on Tom Brady go out and get a rookie, okay? Now, I know Mike Florio today floated the idea that the Raiders were the ones that actually behind the scenes, and there's nothing to prove this. It's a conspiracy theory, but it's worth bringing up, that they were the ones that were running their mouths behind the scenes about C.J. Stroud in the draft. And that the Raiders absolutely thought C.J. Stroud was going to be sitting there and they were going to draft him. And, of course, they didn't. He was already gone. The Texans got him. Look how that turned out. Develop him behind Brady and keep moving. So their third choice was Jimmy Garoppolo. This guy did not reveal the second choice. I'm not going to get into number 2 for a while. I will one day into who the number 2 was. I'm not getting into number 2 today. So Garoppolo was the third choice. Man, all of this may have ultimately tanked Mark Davis, Josh McDaniels. That's crazy. Carpenter did not specify if Brady would have unretired to play for the Raiders or retired after he knew he wouldn't make the move to Vegas. So, in other words, they don't know if between the 17th of January and the 1st, if he decided, no, I'm not going to Vegas, or if it was after the fact and he was just going to unretire. I'm not going to get into the why. I'm not going to share things behind the curtain that they have no control over. Brady has since been looking to buy a minority stake with the Raiders, but the purchase is on hold. The other NFL owners are not happy about it because there's a massive discount. He infamously unretired for one more season with the Bucs last year in a campaign that was sidetracked by his divorce from, of course, Giselle. Wow. I don't know what caused me to be able to I was like, I haven't heard anything about Tom Brady in a while. I was sitting here looking for another video. I typed in Tom Brady, and then I decided to type in Tom Brady and the Raiders because it crossed my mind. I was like, did Tom Brady did he screw Josh McDaniels, for lack of a better way of putting it, and influence the decision to move on? Because there's no way that Mark Davis isn't consulting with Tom Brady. All right? There's no way. And I was like, could Tom Brady have had a hand in Josh McDaniels getting let go? And I came across this. And I was like, wait, what? Tom Brady was going to play for the Raiders. Makes sense. Josh McDaniels, it does. And then he changed his mind. And there was a number 2 choice, and Garoppolo was number 3. Number 3 didn't work out. Josh McDaniels, the season tanks, Josh McDaniels gets fired. And I'm still shocked. I'm not telling you I'm shocked because he didn't deserve it. It was a train wreck. It was not working. But I just didn't believe Mark Davis was actually going to do it. In fact, there's some rumblings about the fact that evidently not in the too distant past, sometime in the last maybe month or so, McDaniels was assured he was not only going to get the rest of this season, but he was going to get all of next season to see what would happen in building this. I still think that train wreck on Monday Night Football is ultimately what did him in national television, the whole thing. Wow, that's wild, folks. Tell me what you think, black and white sports supporters. Tom Brady was the guy until he changed his mind. And now, Josh McDaniels may be gone because Tom Brady decided not to come. Do you think Davante Adams knew or thought Tom Brady was on his way? And that's why he was acted so angry, it seemed like those couple of days after Garoppolo got signed. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.